Hey folks, we're doing a mystery race tonight of Twisted Metal 2. The game has been revealed. Are you familiar with Twisted Metal 2, Alpha Blues?
Yeah, I am. You spoiled it, though, before for arcade, but you told them before you told SpeedBump. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I figured we were getting ready to go. Yeah.
I played Twisted Metal 1 as a kid. I never played Twisted Metal 2. Was it better? Did they make it better?
It's the best one that I've played of those games. It's just got I don't actually remember what Twisted Metal 1 is like because Twisted Metal 2 was so much better that as a kid I was like just
was it open world?
No, it's
to have a battle royale mode.
Yeah, I mean they're all that, but
what was the RPG features like? Could you level up?
Yes. No. It had a lot more characters, I think, is one of the things that Twisted Metal 2 had, but better stages in general, just better. You went on a world tour. I think the first one was just like the United States. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Okay.
But I sure know Twisted Metal 2. And then you go to like Antarctica and you're fighting on an iceberg that is collapsing, and eventually it becomes a Smash Brothers sized arena. You go to like windmills in Holland, I think, and you go to like where else? Los Angeles is the first one, I think. We're talking about Waves of Steel. In the meantime, while we set up for that race, that'll happen in about 15 minutes. So Waves of Steel is our speed bump game of the month. It's sponsored by the devs. I still have a couple keys if you're interested in racing with us. We have
it sounds like some of the strats are coming along from the speed bump chat. You know, people looking for things, finding stuff. So it looks like the world is your oyster for getting in on this.
Yeah, I have. I played it a little bit. It's definitely a fun game. I don't know how you would do it fast. I spent a lot of time. I spent like 5 hours in it, and I spent a lot of time in the editor messing with the various boats. That was one of the things I wanted to check out, because that seems to me like the first place you'll go in a speedrun is not only not spending too much time in that editor, you don't want to do that, but you definitely want to go in there because there's so many options. You're going to want to design your boat. You have so many weapon spaces, you can just go nuts. What I ended up doing, I think the drill is definitely the opener for free good damage. That melee attack isn't messing around. But the Gatling guns that you maybe can unlock if you can find them, you can load your boat up. They're this like short range, strong gun, very short range. But I had I don't know, 15 of them. And I was like that, you know, that airship boss. I dropped him in like I want to say I dropped him in 3 seconds. Just ran underneath him, and like I was having a little bit of a struggle on the level before that, and then I just took the time to really design my boat and understand how the designer works. It takes a little bit of fooling around to understand it. But now that it's clear to me, I set up a boat on the biggest boat I could get. And yeah, you get unlocks for boats that are just bigger. So the tech is like, it's done in a way that I think doesn't hurt the speedrun too much. Like, boats randomly drop the tech, but they drop it with like a super high rate, and we could even make that rate guaranteed based on the options I saw.
Oh, interesting.
And each level has like there's one super good hidden tech. It's usually on like some vault or some building that you have to blow up, and you get this thing that is like, it's something silly like a grappling hook or something. Like, it's something great and really good. You get one like that every stage. It's preset, all of these are, and then you get 10 more maybe at most preset techs per stage, so you can't ever get something ludicrous at the start, but you can get big ships fast if you grab that stuff. And I think the big ships allow you so much more tonnage that I think they're going to be part of the speedrun. Like, halfway through, you're going to switch to a cruiser, I think, based on what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, having more surface area to attach guns to, and it seems like the bigger holes also have a lot more health, which was something that we ran into in our race last week.
The health differential is insane. It starts at like, the first one, 0 is like 350 health, and then for 100 tons out of your 1200 tons, I think it's 100 tons per armor level, you get like 750, and then it's like 1500, and then like 3000. Like, it jumps up more than double each time. So, you know, when you get a cruiser and you devote 5 levels to that, you go from 350 health to like 6000. So there's a big deal there too. And if you're melee, and I think that maybe is one of the, you're gonna have some trouble with that because you can't really get rid of submarines. And I noticed that the little boats are very annoying when they have rockets and they're blasting you, and you can't catch them all with melee. But you can put drifting and speed on your boat and just cruise around, and I'm talking real, Not just drifting, I'm talking 360 spins for fun. Like, you can do that with your ship. So, melee is pretty easy to get away with. It took me a while to design a gunship that I thought was actually better than my melee boats. And the thing about that is that I still could have very easily attached melee to that gunship. It's not very hard to make space for that weapon, so I think that weapon is clutch. I think it's got to be part of the ship. I think it has to be. Even if you do love guns, like even if you want torpedoes galore. I actually had trouble with the torpedoes. They're very heavy. I would say they're probably one of the weaker weapons based on what I saw. Rockets, I think are probably one of the strongest, but I only ever found the weakest ones, and they're a little too ammo intensive. You can put ammo boxes on your ship though. So
like you can store one on there?
Yeah, you can just give yourself like 200% ammo if you want for some tonnage. Like you just put an ammo crate on your ship, and it just makes you have more ammo. So you could do that. So I'm not sure about what weapon's great. I think the drill is going to be just guaranteed to be part of it based on what I saw because it's so light. It takes up the whole front, but it's so light. Why not? And then probably regular guns, which you could set to auto fire. I don't know if you knew this. You can set it to auto fire, and it's very sophisticated. Like you can just focus on dodging if you want. You don't have to do anything but dodge if you want. You can you can set every gun to, like, you want the anti-air guns to shoot little boats and airplanes only and nothing else. You can set that. You can set your cannons to fire at only buildings or at PT boats. You can set your torpedoes to just auto launch at all big cruisers. You can do that. And you can attach a foghorn that plays every time it sees anything. So it just constantly hammers. You can do that kind of stuff in this game pretty easily. It's not hard at all to set that up. Like, even I figured it out. I know nothing about boats.
I've seen just so many screenshots and videos going through the SpeedBump channel of so many things that seem like they're going to save so much time. I remember seeing Eric's trying to look for ways to skip past obstacles by just driving on the land. I saw videos of specific loadouts, designing things to take down some of the bosses even faster. So I think it's going to be good.
There is a stage, it's probably like stage 11, where it's like a Kaizo Mario kind of stage, you know, where they do a whole line of spikes and you have to go around and underneath like a labyrinth of spikes. Except in this game, you can just take the hit and drive right through it if you want. So the obvious speedrun strat to me was pretty clearly to bust on through with some armor on your ship. And I think that's where it's gonna, if you haven't upgraded your ship by then in the speedrun, I think you won't be able to do that. Like, it's gonna hurt too much. I noticed that. And it's just, it's got a lot of things to it that, like, there's missile control. There's a torpedo building that just helps them launch torpedoes at you, and you can just break that stuff. And I don't know how much of that needs to happen for survival, but survival obviously needs to happen. And depending on how little armor you have, you could just absorb that and hope on health crates. And there are so many options. There's also crowd control already for it, and that can be done without a Twitch stream. Like, it can just be randomly fired off, where your boat no longer will turn and stuff. Boats raining from the sky is one of the ones I saw. Like, stuff like that is in the crowd control package, and it can be turned on. So you could have a run. We're not sure about the categories yet, really. I don't think, but like, we could throw chaos into there.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. We're gonna have to see how it plays out. People trying to finish in a reasonable amount of time for our races, but I think even more categories than that. I mean, there might be some fun ones for, you know, having those sorts of things randomly firing.
Well, we're gonna start our race in just a little bit here, but I'll tell you what, we have. Let me get this up. We have a game that I'm doing kind of an interest check-in called Candria. It just released last month. We would be doing it in, our first race will be in 3 weeks. So if you're interested in this one, this could be our next sponsored indie game. So I'm going to do a thing pretty early and reveal it to you. Let's watch that trailer real quick. Yeah, this is it. Okay. This one, I played a little bit. If you're into Celeste, I think you're going to... I'm still waiting on Othboo's to play Celeste again, by the way.
I've played Celeste.
Still waiting for that actual playthrough.
How many times I gotta play Celeste for people?
I'm waiting to see it.
Unbelievable.
This one is like Celeste with some combat in it. And I haven't played the full version just yet, but I did play some of it, and I'm satisfied that there's enough movement tech in this to be fun. I don't think there are speedruns of this one yet either, so we'll fix that. I'll speedrun this one probably. Like, yeah. So it's got the Celeste movement where you can aim your dash. That's what turned me onto it right away. And you can grab gems to recharge your dash. So that kind of thing is in it. And there's combat, and the combat is beat 'em up style. And there's a lot of variety in that. Apparently there's fishing. I don't know anything about that. This is the release trailer from January. So this game is out if you'd like to try it.
Can't make a video game in 2023 that doesn't have fishing in it.
It's very pretty, and it controls great. So I was satisfied with what I tried, that this would be a great speed bump game. And I think we'll look at it in March if you're interested in, like, you can start practicing now if you'd like, or you can let me know that you're interested in racing with us in this. I'd like to hear about it in the Discord. Just let me know. Give me a tag. Yep, that's that game.
Awesome. Well, I think we've got pretty much everything ready for our speed bump race. If you want to head us that direction.
Yeah, let's do it. I need to get those players' names here. Let me pull them up. I'll get that.
Okay.
If you want, you can look up the moves list and give them that information. Because there is player inputs in Twisted Metal. I think, like, I can't remember for sure, but it's left, right, up is maybe napalm, and right, left, up is maybe freeze. It's something like that. You have a mana bar, and you can basically get free weapons, and freeze is crazy good. Like, you could just play Thumper, I think his name is, and freeze and flamethrower, the frozen guy, and they were dead. Like, that's just, that person's gone. So that's how you would win fast in Twisted Metal 2. You would just do that and rock them. So that's what I would advise.
Yeah, everyone's got combos.
I think it's global, though. I'm not sure about that. I'm pretty sure it is, though. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that those moves are, like, everyone has their own, but there's definitely a couple that are just everyone can do them. And it's just inputs, like gamer fighting inputs. You can do it as long as you have mana in Twisted Metal 2. You don't need anything. I'm 100% sure about that. You can just fire off anytime you want the ability to just freeze a guy, and that's one of the strongest things easily. So that's what I would hope to see the players doing a bunch of. Okay, our players tonight. Let's see. We have Vlad the Eater. First one to sign up. Dude is in there. Dude. Time Stalker.
Mm-hmm.
Paragon.
I think everyone should be up and ready except for Vlad. I think it's still setting up, but
Drop Snowlock. Digi. And the Final Sentinel. I'm pulling those up now. So when are you playing Waves of Steel? Before or after Celeste? Oh, nice. Are you planning to beat the whole thing? I think that you'll have trouble beating the whole thing in one session the first time.
Okay.
Because if you're like me, you just like to design your damn boat too much. And every level I went back in there and I was like,
I get stir crazy in menus like that, so I probably won't spend too much time there. I mean, I'll spend enough time there so that I can try to make a cool boat, and then I'll probably just beat my head against missions that I'm failing.
I think that you'll have less trouble than you would expect with that, and that I could have not done that and still succeeded. In fact, I think the boats I made were much worse than the one I had originally, pretty often, until I got towards the mid-game, I would say, and then I started to understand what I was building. Okay, I have everyone's feed. Let me grab that box art. Axles on the front of this. They're new. This is a guy who's just two giant wheels, and he's like chained. He's like T-posing in between them. He has no armor at all on him, so I'm not sure how he survives any of this car stuff, but This game got a little out of hand. I remember the endings are like comic book endings, and they're always... It's like a genie giving a wish kind of endings. They're not good. Not good for the player. Usually, like, one of them wishes no one would
monkey
ever...
paw curls.
Yeah, no one would ever die again or something, and they just become zombies forever, and it's awful. And, like, endings like that, yeah. Okay. We no longer need our webcams off the blues.
All right, I'm turning mine off right now.
All right, I'm gonna get the look here fixed up while we wait on Vlad.
I hit the wrong button.
Oh no, off the blues disappeared.
I disconnected from the call instead of turning off my webcam. That's how much I wanted to turn off my webcam.
I don't know if there are definitely character unlocks, but I don't think we need to mess around with any of that. And I remember how stupid some of these characters are now that I'm looking at this again. And wow, what an ugly game that sure seems different in my nostalgic mind. But
did you just remember it being beautiful?
Oh yeah, I used to play this on how small was my CRT? It must have been like 18 inches, like less than my monitor by a lot. And huge still. It was still heavy as heck. It was like 100 pounds. And I would play this game all day long. Well, I see everyone but Vlad. Is that still the case?
Probably. I'll ping Vlad and let him know that we're gonna start, and that they can catch up.
Okay. We'll pull audio from... Probably Rob has audio playing. That's probably fine. Looks like it. Actually, it looks like Tarragon is my audio source of choice this time.
You've done it. All right, I'm giving them 30 minutes. This is fairly linear in the sense that we don't have to track it beyond just like who makes it furthest, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a survival kind of like they get 3 lives and there's I don't know 9 stages, so we'll see who gets the furthest. That's the ticket.
Sounds good.
And just get to the character select screen, set your options to whatever the default is probably good, but you can set your controls if you want, so they might want to look at that. But as soon as everyone's readied up, you can go ahead and start that thing. Tournament mode is right, 1 player, just regular.
Yep, looks like 1 player tournament mode. All right, I'll give them the start. Cannot start. 1 racers are not ready. You're killing me.
There's a forced start you can use.
I'm gonna. No one's gonna tell me not to start.
Okay, 10 seconds. Here we go. We do have 2 weeks left on the Waves of Steel thing. I just don't have it on my in UI clock at the moment. I've been slacking on the website.
I just love that there's a guy just between 2 wheels.
Yeah, that's Axel. That's what I was talking about. This is Axel. I can tell you pretty much by pure memory what everyone's special ability is, and that's one of the big differences between the cars here.
Does anyone play anyone other than Axel? That just seems like the obvious choice. He's a guy between 2 giant wheels.
He's not bad. He's got a big shockwave blast. Mr. Grimm on the motorcycle is actually my favorite because that skull attack the Tarragon is firing off, it just does a tremendous amount of damage. I think Thumper is the name of the pink car down left, which is like this flamethrower is their special. And Digi's playing the Ghost Man. I'm pretty sure their ability is to fire like a phantom across the hearse that Time Sucker has is similar to that. I think Spectre goes invisible and the hearse maybe fires a phantom. The hearse is one of my least favorites, actually. Oh, everyone's here though. Los Angeles. So this game isn't very hard usually. Yeah, once you get the hang of it, but you're trying to survive by running around getting power-ups. Missiles are everywhere. You got to collect health to stay alive. That's going to be a thing. This is about surviving. Well, they will kill each other, and they're not very smart, so they won't go after you. Like,
They don't prioritize you because you're the human player.
Oh, the tractor got a hold of Mr. Grimm. That's that's not good. Yeah, they don't really. If they catch you, they'll do their stuff to you, but
Yeah.
this game was more about check out our cool explosions. You can blow up the background and see cool things happen if you want, instead of like, you know, actually playing. And while you're doing that, the game ends.
Wait, like the actual like giant billboards in the background, you can shoot a shot out there and it does something?
That Hollywood sign on this stage is what's destructible, so you can just shoot way back there, and destroy it. Like it just disintegrates. That's, you know, it's not very exciting on this first level, but that's what it does.
I support it.
And you can destroy almost all the things that are in the map, the buildings and stuff, and you can get items. Usually, there's one in this map which is like 4 boxes, and if you shoot one, an item appears in a lightning bolt. Yeah, this game has an incredible stage design compared to the first one. This is not a good stage, but the ones after this are coming up. They're just great. Everyone's going to remember the France one. You can blow up the Eiffel Tower. It's enormous, obviously. It's quite large, but when you blow it up, you can teleport inside of it, and it becomes a huge part of the map. It's like a bridge that goes to the rooftops. And the ability to change the stage that much while playing is nuts.
So who's doing well? I mean, I see on a lot of screens it says enemies 6, enemies 5. So that's how many people need to die before
That's true.
you win as the survival.
That's right.
So is it just they need to hunt those people down, or is it really just kind of can wait them out a bit?
I think they'll attack each other some, but you're gonna need to get involved. It's probably gonna be mostly you doing the damage. They're not very good. Like, I can't stress enough that they suck at this. So they do try to fight each other, but they're just not good at it. So they probably will catch you more than each other.
Gotcha. I assume you're the only one who has extra lives. Does everyone have multiple lives?
No, they'll be back in the next level though. Maybe it's randomly picked. First game over. It looks like no one's gonna beat stage 1 on the first try. But once you get the hang of this, I think it'll be easier. They might benefit from easy mode.
Is there a difficulty setting that I could have had them change?
I think so. It's in the options probably.
All right, well, I'll pass along to them that they can either reset for easy mode, or on their next game over, they can switch to easy mode.
Yeah, let me see if there's any cheat codes for lives too, because I wouldn't mind them having infinite lives for this. If that's a thing, let me see. No, there's not for that. There's just a bunch of you can't possibly lose cheats, like you cannot die anymore. It's... This has like 90s cheats, you know those. You type in some like developer name or some shit.
Right.
They're free to use the passwords if they get to a stage. That's the thing they can do. If you want to tell them that, I'll do it. Actually, here.
Sure.
High level passwords. If you make it to a stage, just scroll.
Yeah, it's like every PC game from the 90s. It was just like, you know, type in our developer's nickname, Johnny Pancakes, and it'll give you 100 lives.
Yeah, so this game supports, like, if you're playing as Axel and you want to go to Antarctica, you can just type in XX, triangle, triangle, square, triangle, and that takes you there. So it's that kind of password system. It's character-based, so they can just resume wherever they were. So not too concerned about their limited progress.
Right.
I want to see some people get through. Yeah. Looks like there's 8 stages. And then a final boss. So I was right, 9 is correct.
Seems the computer knows how to throw napalms as well.
Statue of Liberty in bikini, secret item. Fire a power missile, and then fire another one to blow it up. You know, your choice.
Why would you blow up the bikini?
That's another just like super far in the background thing compared to
Right.
Paris, which is Paris and Antarctica are the two big ones, because in Antarctica you start on this huge ice floe. Like, it's not a continent, but it's a pretty big island, and you can blow it up to the point where it's barely big enough for a couple cars.
Yeah, so I know Vlad switched to easy mode. I imagine Time Stalker is going to do so here. I think everyone else is holding out for right now.
There are shields. I saw somebody cast. That also helps.
Tarragon seems to be switching to easy also.
That's just going to lower the damage that they take. So the lightning weapon, it's really silly, but there's always a place on the map, maybe not always, but certainly on this one, where there's just like a lightning turret that's guarding the power-up area, and if you fire it when someone goes near it to collect that thing, you will hit them with that. So that's what that does. I'm trying to go through the list of all the mechanics here. It's not a very like deep game.
Sure.
Like you throw that bomb and it's a ricochet bomb. It's like a green shell, and it's just a PNG of a bomb. It just glides across the screen and hits somebody. Yeah, I don't think we need to worry about them beating the game, but they can use level select to actually beat the game on easy mode if they need to. I'm not sure how far they can get on easy mode, but with 30 minutes, they probably won't get to whatever the boundary would be. It's probably like level 5.
Right.
This is definitely of the era of also, you played on easy mode, what a chump, we're not going to let you play. Of that time of gaming.
Yeah, very good timing gaming.
All those people who like that grew up liking Elden Ring's difficulty setting, and they argue about it on Twitter. This game is
what's the most modern game that still uses that mechanic?
I think indie Contra games probably still do it. If you call those modern, like as far as like a AAA game, I'm not sure.
I'm just thinking, I'm trying to think if there's any like modern well-known games that still use that mechanic. I mean, like Superman 64 had that.
Cuphead.
So that would have been in the late. Oh, did Cuphead have something like that?
I don't remember. I know that there's a lot of games that lock something behind that kind of stuff, but usually it sucks. Most of the time it's something like mean. Anyway, the health packs in this game are like half of your bar back, and a lot of the game is going to be just not taking damage and collecting those over and over again. Staying alive, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it seems like this is the sort of game that you really, really benefit from map knowledge, like just knowing where to go to pick up power-ups and continuously hitting those points to get the power-ups, spend them, and then come back.
That's probably true, yeah. The maps aren't huge, so it won't take long to learn that. I'm trying to remember what the levels are. This first one's a bit rough. The second one's a big dome, like arena, and there's less characters in that one. I didn't see what the players reacted to this game. What did they think? If they're like excited or not to see Twisted Metal show up again?
When I posted, I got and oh lord.
I was wondering why this genre disappeared instead of coming into 4K, but maybe I could see a little bit of why. But I still like it. We're seeing Vlad the Eater make it to the next level. I don't know if they get to keep their 1-up or not, because they died at the very end of it. Oh, they don't. But they get the password, they can just use that on stage 2. I don't mind if they change their characters either with a different password. On to stage 2. The tracker is really messing people up.
That makes sense. Vlad was the first one to have switched to easy mode, so had a little bit easier time, and a little bit longer to spend having an easier time.
Learning what the weapons do is also, like, I see people firing the napalm and it fires in an arc, like when you throw a banana forward in Mario Kart. So things like that are just gonna be I think these players are going to get a lot better at this game by the 30-minute mark. As painful as it might be to get started here. Grasshopper is an enemy car I see running around. Their ability is probably the hardest to use, so I'm glad no one's going for that. It jumps in the air, and if you happen to get jumped on, that's how it's done. It's really bad.
Okay. So you really just have to know its jump arc really, really well.
Yeah, that's some veteran stuff for sure.
This game certainly had multiplayer, right?
Yeah, split screen. It works just fine. I think it might... It's easier to play. Like, you're on a team. So, if in tournament mode, it would just be another person to help you, you know, get rid of these jerks. It might be worth mentioning also, Turbo will remove fire off you. They have this button for turbo speed, and it's not really just for speed. You can do it for that status.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave them the move list. There's a lot of spells. Up, left, apparently is jump. I knew jump was in there. It's just the feather. But there's also a shield. You can fire all your weapons backwards if you want. That's a different spell. You can just fire them in the opposite direction.
Convenient.
Another
if
player
there's someone right behind you.
Yeah. So there's a shield, there's freeze, there's the napalm blast, and the napalm blast is pretty much exactly the same as the weapon. I think that's all of the regular free spells. Yeah, but there's no reason why they should be burning. That's a status effect you can just turn off, so once they realize that's how that's done, it'll be easier. Who's your favorite racer so far? Like character?
Oh, thought you were asking me to pick between all of the speed bumpers.
I see Tarragon using Mr. Slam. That's the one that I've seen.
Rooting for Digi. No.
I've seen that tractor messing up the players big time, but it's the first one I've seen play it.
Yeah, it's kind of the sort of decision you make when you've died to the same character enough times. It's like, fine, I'll be that character.
I can't remember the name of... Maybe it's Roadhog, the name of the character Digi is playing.
Yeah, not sure.
That's like
Warthog.
a memory holding that.
What's the character that Rob's playing, that classic car?
That's Thumper with the flamethrower. It used to be my favorite until I got used to the Motorcycle Man. It's very strong also, like freeze and burn is just, like they could fire their special off right now and hit all these guys. And it looks like they are.
So what's the Twisted Metal 2, what's the Twisted Metal 2 tier list look like? Who's the guy I should be playing as if it's my first time?
I feel like Axel is pretty easy to use because of the AoE. One of the big differences is going to be their special attack. Like their stats mean something, but that comes down to like handling stuff. Wow, Rob caught all of them in a pack and burned them all in one stage.
Yeah, they all made the mistake of standing too close together.
Yeah, flamethrower does work here. Thumper is pretty strong. Axel's good. Mr. Slam isn't too bad. That tractor there. Grimm's problem is that he has no health, so he's the motorcycle guy. He just gets obliterated, but he hits really hard with his special weapon.
Is that skull just like a insta-kill or something?
No, it's like half. Like it's just like half your life. And you get 2 or 3 of them at a time, so you can...
I mean, that's still a ton.
Yeah, it's enough that you can just delete somebody. I mean, you get more than one, so you can just...
How quickly can you fire them off?
I would say about as fast as you can fire red shells in Mario Kart.
Yeah, it seems like it would be pretty easy to just decide someone's dead.
Yeah, if you can land them, they just shoot straight forward. They're not hard to aim. They're just green shells. I like comparing them to Mario
level
Kart.
3 fighting from the top of the Eiffel Tower.
I think in this second stage you can blow up every single ramp. That's what that's destructible here. Like, if that makes it sound like the stage is ruined, it is. Like you can just not have ramps anymore, and you just have a big circle now. But you kind of make the decision to do that because it takes a little bit of a beating. It confuses the AI, I think, if you're the only one using the ramps and there's only one left and you're... We're seeing people make it through. I'm thinking that now that they're winning stage 1 and such, they're gonna start winning all of them. Like, this game doesn't change in difficulty, it just is a little hard to jump into.
Yeah, I mean, to the extent that I think the benefit of this second level is that it's small, right? So all the enemies are pretty easily found.
Yeah.
Level 1 is quite large, and it seemed like people were mostly just driving, trying to find people and things. So I think as long as the levels don't get too expansive, I think people are going to just skate right through some of these.
The Paris level is like, I don't know why they didn't start with this one. Why did they start with these? That first one's probably one of the worst, and the second one's, it's like you said, it's small, it's just for a quick romp. It's alright, but this third one is so sophisticated. It's big, it's got a million destructible objects, and inside each one, inside the statues, inside the cars, there is some kind of power-up. There is a museum you can go to that has a bunch of power-ups in it, and you can burn the paintings for secret codes. The codes are the weapon power-up cheats, the freeze ray and stuff, how you do them. It's just like, if you sit there and watch it burn in the smoke, you'll see the combo move for freeze is one of them.
Gotcha.
And then there's the Eiffel Tower.
That's kind of a cool way to give passwords.
Yeah. The Eiffel Tower, of course, is what I was talking about earlier. We might see that. You have to focus on it a little bit, but when you blow it up, it just lets you get onto the rooftops where there is a crazy amount of power-ups, and you can ride up there and ambush anybody below. You can just jump on them from above with all your stuff.
Dude completing level 1. We've still got 2 people left on level 1, 2 people with a third on their way heading into level 2, and 2 people on level 3.
Vlad currently with a perfect amount of lives, doing great on level 3, but they do have password access, so all they gotta do is type it on in.
Yep.
Oh, they're getting caught by Thumper. See, that's what happens. Thumper's also very, very dangerous. I forgot how much damage that does. So Mr. Grimm probably cannot beat that in damage if there's 2 people being hit by the flamethrower. That's probably too much. Like, it's... If you stand inside the fire the whole time, it probably will kill you in one go. And if you're frozen, you cannot get away, so...
When you started talking about car games today, when we were talking about what game we were going to do, it reminded me of a game I played as a kid that I definitely should not have had access to as a kid. Did you ever play Quarantine? It was an old DOS game.
Sounds familiar.
It was like post-apocalyptic, but like if I'm not mistaken, the game was centered around like you were ferrying people, like a taxi driver. But you got like points for running people over, and
this looks cool.
It's one of those games that's obviously just trying to go for shock value. Like, it does not have a ton of merit on its own aside from just shocking you.
Yeah, I've never seen this. Have you played the Die Hard PlayStation games?
I haven't. Are those the ones where it was actually just like a completely different game in Japan and they slapped Die Hard on it, or are we talking about a different game here?
The PlayStation game is the 3 movies. Each one has their own sort of arcade game.
Right. The Die Hard arcade game was like a totally different theme in Japan, and like when they brought it to the US, they were just like, it's Die Hard now.
I don't know. The American version is pretty clearly the movies, and it's got quotes and stuff from them.
Okay, yeah, that's totally something different.
Yeah. I think. The second movie is a car point of view, like what you're talking about, and you're just racing to hit bombs, and there are a million people in the way, and you're probably gonna have to hit them at some point, and their blood gets all over the windshield, and the windshield wipers turn on. This is 90s gaming. I think I made somebody play that for Christmas during the Christmas arcade.
That makes sense. Die Hard for Christmas makes sense.
Speaking of point of view, I'm pretty sure there is a first-person point of view for this, but it's not as good looking as this game that you were talking about, with the UI and all in the HUD.
Right. Yeah, to be clear, I'm not advocating for quarantine. It was just a game I thought about and didn't know if other people had played.
That's a bit before my time. I think most of the DOS stuff was.
I was trying to remember if that was the game I thought of, and I pulled up a video, and like all the posters in town are like the most heinous things. It's very, it was very clearly that era of like you wanted people talking about your game.
I see players struggling to reach the power-ups here, and up left is the jump that they are going to have to do to get to some of those.
You just press that on the D-pad and you jump?
Yeah. It's very good at what it does. Like, it's responsive. You won't have much trouble with this, even if you're not really a fighting game input kind of person. It's very... Like, Symphony of the Night, I had a lot of trouble doing Soul Steal and stuff for some reason. I think it was tacked on in that game a little bit, but in this one, it works just fine.
Watching Vlad wrestle with these
yeah, trying to get that
these,
med pack.
Yeah, with these fountains is very amusing. I could watch Vlad try to get to that med pack all day.
Oh, they didn't make it. They had 2 enemies left. I was rooting. Yeah, the Soul Steal and Symphony of the Night and some of the other ones, they do like quarter circle forward, and I think Soul Steal does a whole circle, and it just doesn't respond to me. I don't know. I think you have to be very deliberate with the button presses and that.
So which was our first player to make it to Paris? Was it Rob or was it Vlad?
Rob was there first, and Vlad is second, I think.
Okay.
And,
I'm just trying to keep track in case we don't see our way out of Paris.
Yep, I think we will though. The players are doing well, and Rob currently I think has the easier character to win with. I would say probably one of the easiest with Thumper, definitely in the top tier. And they, I mean, they're burning themselves too here, but hey, they're killing all the enemies. 1 life left and 2 enemies to go. I think they're gonna make it. You do take collision damage, so I think we're gonna see him just spontaneously explode here if he doesn't get a med pack soon.
I'm really excited to see that.
Just gonna bump into a wall and explode. Oh!
I can't believe I was robbed of the opportunity to see him die to a tree.
Damn. Sweet Tooth is kind of the game's icon, and nobody picked.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a locked. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's a locked character. But they throw an ice cream cone that just goes forward and does ridiculous damage.
I remember Sweet Tooth. I remember all of the advertising for the game always featured the clown in the ice cream truck.
Yeah, this time they went for Axel on the cover though.
It makes sense. He's clearly the coolest character.
Yeah. The boss of this game is Dark Tooth, the Shadow Hedgehog version of Sweet Tooth. And it's just a big ice cream truck that's painted black. And that's stage 9. They just do stage, I think it's Hong Kong. They just do it again, but now it's just that boss is running around in it and nothing else.
Just to say it out loud, we're talking about a nightmare clown who drives a white truck, and he's not the bad version. The bad version is the dark clown.
Yeah, Sweet Tooth is pretty sure a serial killer or something.
Yeah, he's the good guy.
Yeah.
He's the protagonist version.
Killer clown driving an ice cream truck. I forget what their ending is, but it's probably, I think it's a dumb comedy thing, like the kind of thing a weird clown would wish for, like where's his monkey or something like that is probably what he wished for. I'm looking at the lore of Twisted Metal 2 here. There's like, it's like Mortal Kombat writing where it's like they just wrote it real fast. Oh,
you mean like how Doom 1 Episode 3 ends with him finding out that the Martians killed his bunny rabbit?
Yeah. Things like that. That's good writing.
We've evolved beyond the need to pay writers. We can come up with this on our own. What if my dog got sick? What if they killed my bunny rabbit?
Oh, the homing missiles that he fires. That's what it is. So they do.
Rob
home in.
has made it to Amazonia.
I think that in the first game, Sweet Tooth was the boss, and they just couldn't come up with anything else than a clown boss, so they just did it again. It's Christmas Eve again, apparently. That's the plot. Calypso is like some kind of djinn businessman, and he's just gonna give them a wish, one wish, and he's gonna try to make it suck for them. It doesn't always, though. Sometimes it backfires and he dies, but the world is open for destruction while everyone just like kind of watches this. I think it's based on a movie that, man, what the hell was that called? Road Warrior 3000 or something like that. Death Race 3000, that's what it's called. Where people would just, it was like a game show, and people would just drive across the nation and they would run over people for points. It's a 70s movie, and there is a really bad remake of it in modern times featuring Jason Statham. And it is probably the basis of this game's whole concept. Now, the Green Goblin truck is a book, Stephen King, I'm pretty sure. I think we're talking about the same thing, where all the appliances like come to life. I think that's what that is. But I haven't seen that movie in such a long time, I can barely remember it. Yeah, like the Green Goblin truck doesn't kill the humans because it needs a couple of them alive so they can get some gas at the gas station. So it just leaves them alive.
It was actually the basis of the Brave Little Toaster.
Well, that's a good movie. I don't know about the Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars, but the one before that, pretty good.
I never saw it. I hope he got home okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they went there. Oh, we're running out of time, and currently Rob, clearly the boss of this one with the Amazonian stage, which is in a volcano. I don't remember this one very well, but it is. I have memories of it now that I see it. I'm like, this is the most forgettable stage. There's nothing destructible, really. Maybe something in the background, but I can't remember. I think maybe you can blow open a pyramid or something to get items or something, but it's minor, whatever it is, compared to the other stages.
Sweet Tooth, put him in the lava.
Yeah, the lava doesn't hurt very bad, but it does damage over time. Makes up most of the stage. The AI drives into it, so maybe the reason this is forgettable is because they just explode. They just don't...
They take care of themselves.
Yeah, they don't understand. It's pretty slow damage, but I think it does work. We only have a minute left. Everyone's on Paris now except for Time Stucker, who had a lot of trouble with stage 1. I think stage 2 is so easy that everyone went right through it. Stage 3 is a pretty daunting task, and I think the best I've seen is Vlad with 2 left. In terms of who got there next.
Right.
Tarragon, I think, was next. And then Digi and Dude probably around the same time. I don't know when Sentinel got there. Actually, Sentinel's on the first stage, looks like. Oh, there's a mini-boss on the Amazon, right. Is that right? Is that where you fight this weird tank guy? I completely forgot about that. There's nothing special about the bosses in this if you have a technique. You can just delete them the way you delete anybody. You just freeze them and blast them. But they do a lot of damage. They're kind of gross in stats. Rob with 4 left on the 4th stage is the clear champion. Yeah, setting your score at number level makes sense. We could do a big tie on the 2nd level.
So it's Rob number 1, followed by Vlad. And then you said Tarragon was next?
Yeah, I think so. The other 2 players in Paris, I'm not sure who got there first. Time Sucker and Final Sentinel look like they're on stage 1. It's a learning game. You definitely have to get used to the janky 90s car control battling times. It's definitely unique. And if you don't,
it's definitely a product of the era. I mean, like there's a bunch of games that have done this, though not all of them nearly as well as this game did.
Yeah.
It's like, but you're right. It's like a genre that just kind of dried up entirely. No one wants to do demolition derby games anymore. Arcade demolition derby games, I guess.
We had a couple of choices for which one to play tonight, and I feel like this actually is, believe it or not, probably the best of any of them, including the entire Twisted Metal series. There's like 4 in that. And then there's Vigilante 8 and a couple of other ones, and I feel like this one is the easiest to play and control and win compared to those, out of all of those. Well, that's that game.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for playing, everybody. Thanks for the Mr. Race. It's definitely a... You just get the hang of it.
Yeah. It's one of those games that once you get it down, you have it down, but it takes some time.
And some characters are just bad. That's definitely a thing. There's definitely some imbalance there. I think like Thumper is clearly... I don't think it's a mistake. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that the person playing Thumper ended up in first place. Like, very quickly deleting enemies is a big thing.
Well, that went really well. Thanks.
Thanks for joining me out the blues.
For sure. Later.
Have a good one. See you next week. Oh, wait, you won't be here next week.
Not next week.
I'll figure out something. Have a good one.
Bye.